Wakanda, a hidden, technologically advanced African nation, untouched by colonialism, powered by a miracle element. We see the gleaming spires of Zana, the fearsome warriors of the Dora Milaje, and a king who draws his power from the spirit of the panther. It's the world of Marvel's Black Panther, a cinematic triumph that captured the imagination of millions. Feels like pure fantasy, right? But what if I told you that the real history that inspired Wakanda is even more incredible than the fiction? What if the heart of Black Panther's world lies not just in comic books, but in true stories of resistance, innovation, and deep spirituality that have echoed across the African continent for centuries? Beyond the blockbuster film lies a rich tapestry of history and mythology. We're about to uncover the true stories of resistance, the real-life warrior women, and the ancient spiritual traditions that Marvel adapted to create the world of Wakanda. In the movie, T'Challa inherits the mantle of the Black Panther, a title passed down through generations of Wakandan kings. He's a protector and a spiritual leader, whose power is granted by the panther goddess Bast. This idea of a monarch infused with the spirit of a powerful beast feels like comic book fantasy. But the reverence for the panther, or more accurately the leopard, as a symbol of royalty is much, much older than Marvel. Across Africa, the leopard has long been the ultimate symbol of power, stealth, and leadership. Its elusive and deadly nature made it an animal that was both feared and deeply respected. In many kingdoms, from the Ashanti in Ghana to the Zulu in South Africa, only chiefs and monarchs were permitted to wear leopard skins. These pelts weren't just clothing, or a visual language of power, signifying that the wearer embodied the leopard's strength and cunning. This connection ran so deep that in some cultures, kings were believed to be spiritually connected to the leopard, reinforcing their divine right to rule. The animal became an extension of royalty itself. So when Marvel created T'Challa, they weren't just inventing a man in a suit. We're tapping into a powerful ancient African ideal, the king as the fierce spiritual protector of his people. What really captures our imagination about Wakanda is that it was never conquered. It's a vision of an African country that was never colonized, never had its resources plundered, and developed on its own terms into the most advanced civilization on Earth. This is a powerful fantasy, but it's rooted in very real history. While no single nation is a perfect match for Wakanda, the filmmakers have cited two key inspirations: Ethiopia and the Kingdom of Lesotho. For centuries, Ethiopia stood as a symbol of African sovereignty. It successfully resisted European colonial powers, most famously defeating Italian forces at the Battle of Adwa in 1896. This victory echoed across the continent, making Ethiopia a real-world example of an unconquered African kingdom. The movie's director, Ryan Coogler, also drew from the Kingdom of Lesotho. It's a small, mountainous nation is completely surrounded by South Africa. Due to its formidable terrain and the resilience of its people, it managed to avoid being fully incorporated into its neighbors' colonial and apartheid systems, to preserve its sovereignty from encroaching Boer settlers. It became a British protectorate in 1868, but maintained a crucial degree of autonomy. You can even see a direct visual influence in the film: the beautiful, patterned Basotho blankets, traditionally worn by the people of Lesotho, are worn by W. Kabi, and the border tribe cleverly updated in the film with a Vibranium-powered force field. And the idea of an advanced African civilization isn't just a fantasy. Empires like that of Great Zimbabwe with its magnificent stone ruins are a testament to the sophisticated, wealthy, and powerful societies that thrived in Africa long before European arrival. By imagining Wakanda, the filmmakers weren't creating something out of nothing. They were tapping into a deep and often overlooked history of African resilience and innovation. One of the most unforgettable parts of Black Panther is the Dora Milaje, the elite all-female unit of royal bodyguards. With their shaven heads and fierce loyalty, they are some of the most formidable warriors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And yes, they are based on a real army of women. The Dora Milaje are directly inspired by the Agaji of Dahomey, a kingdom in what is now modern-day Benin. From the 1700s to the late 1800s, the Agaji were an all-female military regiment, and they were one of the most feared fighting forces in West Africa. European colonizers who faced them called them the Dahomey Amazons. These were not ceremonial guards. The Agaji were frontline soldiers who underwent intense physical training, learning to fight with brutal efficiency. Officially considered wives of the king, they fought in major battles and were instrumental in resisting French colonial expansion in the late 19th century. The fighting force was largely destroyed during the Franco-Damoian War. And the last known survivor, a woman named Nawi, said to have passed away in 1979. The film's celebration of warrior traditions doesn't stop there. The Jabari tribe, led by the powerful M'Baku, live in the mountains and revere the gorilla god. Of how spiritual beliefs can shape a warrior's identity and reflects the importance of animal totems in many African mythologies. Similarly, the border tribe's symbolic connection to the rhino perfectly mirrors their role as Wakanda's tough, defensive front line. Next, we re-diving into how the fantasy of Vibranium connects to the real-world history of African resources and the birth of a movement called Afrofuturism. This is the perfect time to subscribe and hit that notification bell. At the heart of Wakanda's power is Vibranium, the fictional metal that absorbs all kinetic energy. It's the source of their wealth, technology, and isolation. The comic-esque creators were likely influenced by the real-life struggle over uranium in the Congo. During the Cold War, the Congo possessed some of the world's richest uranium deposits, a resource critical for nuclear weapons, which made the region a site of intense international conflict and exploitation. Black Panther flips this tragic history. It asks, what if an African nation had sole control over a uniquely powerful resource and could protect it, using it to build a prosperous society on its own terms? Wakanda is the answer. This reimagining is a core idea in a cultural and artistic movement known as Afrofuturism. Coined in the 1990s, Afrofuturism explores the Black experience through science fiction and fantasy, imagining futures and alternate histories free from the scars of colonialism. Artists like Sun Ra and Janelle Monáe, and authors like Octavia Butler, have used Afrofuturism to create worlds where Black culture is at the center. Black Panther is probably the most mainstream example of Afrofuturism to date. The stunning cityscapes blend futuristic architecture with traditional African designs like the rondavel roofs found in southern Africa. The film's written language is based on Nzibiti, an ancient system of symbols from what is now southeastern Nigeria, historically used by secret societies to encode information. Everything in the film is designed to feel like a natural, uncolonized progression of African cultures. It's about creating a world that says Black history is the foundation for a brilliant future. The power of the Black Panther isn't just technological, it's deeply spiritual. When T'Challa becomes king, he consumes the heart-shaped herb, a plant which grants him superhuman abilities and connects him to the ancestral plane. There, he can talk with the spirits of his father and the Black Panthers who came before him. This entire spiritual framework is a beautiful cinematic adaptation of real and diverse African spiritual traditions. The film explicitly names the panther goddess Bast as the source of the first Black Panther's power. Bast or Bastet is an ancient Egyptian goddess, often depicted as a lioness or cat, known as a fierce protector. By linking the panther cult to her, the film grounds Wakandan spirituality in one of the most well-known ancient African pantheons. Even more central to the film is the ancestral plane. The idea that ancestors are not truly gone, but remain active as guides for the living, is a cornerstone of many African worldviews. This is often called ancestral veneration. In many traditions, from the Zulu of South Africa to the Akan of Ghana, ancestors are honored through rituals, and their wisdom is sought in times of need. When T'Challa walks across the ethereal plains and speaks with his father, he's engaging in a practice that feels deeply familiar to millions, beautifully capturing the essence of this profound spiritual belief. Even the heart-shaped herb has its roots in real-world traditions. Throughout Africa, there is a deep respect for traditional medicine and the belief that certain plants hold sacred power. The herb in the movie is a perfect metaphor for this, a gift from the land that bestows not just physical power, but a spiritual connection to one's heritage. From the symbolic power of the leopard and real African royalty to the unconquered spirit of nations like Ethiopia and Lesotho. From the real-life female warriors of Dahomey to the deep, abiding belief in the wisdom of ancestors. The world of Black Panther is so much more than just fantasy. It's a mirror reflecting the incredible richness of African history, mythology, and culture. The film took these true stories, powerful symbols, and legendary figures and wove them into a modern myth. Through the lens of Afrofuturism, it presented a vision of what could be by honoring what has always been. Wakanda feels so powerful because it's built on a foundation of truth. Black Panther is more than a superhero movie. It's a celebration of cultures that have been marginalized, a history that has been ignored, and the idea that the most incredible stories are often the real ones. It reminds us that behind the fiction we love, there is a world of history waiting to be discovered, a history that is just as epic as any comic book. What part of Wakanda's real history surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. We love reading your insights. And if you want more deep dives that connect your favorite stories to the incredible history that inspired them, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. Thanks for watching.